What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into everything we know so far about Genshin Impact version 6.3. And let me tell you, this patch is already looking like one of the biggest we've had in years. Honestly, it might even end up being the most stacked patch of the entire Nodcry arc. We've got the return of Lantern Rite, a brand new premium 5-star skin for Neuvillette, the long-awaited debut of Columbina, a mysterious new figure called the White Horse Adeptus, rumors about a Liu map expansion, and even some wild speculation about Zhongli being connected to lunar powers. Yeah, it's a lot. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's go through everything piece by piece. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg, especially for the Nodcry release. Lootbar is offering the all-in-one pack and the 6,480 pack for only $69 compared to $100 in-game. That's a $31 saving. I just entered my UID and selected my server. In less than 5 minutes, the gems appeared in my account. As you can see, I received double the amount for my first purchase, just like with in-game top-ups. And remember, the double bonus for your first purchase has been reset in 6.0. Beyond Genshin, you can also top up in Honkai Star Rail. Lootbar has over 100,000 satisfied users and also supports PS5 and Xbox top-ups. New users can get an extra 10% discount, while returning users get 5%. The link is in the description. First, let's talk timing. Lantern Rite is always one of the biggest festivals in Genshin, and it usually lines up with Lunar New Year. That places it right around late January or early February. Looking at Hoyoverse's 6-week patch cycle, version 6.3 is set to run from early January to mid-February 2026, which lines up perfectly. That means Lantern Rite is locked into the middle of this patch. And if you've been playing for a while, you know that Lantern Rite is basically the most generous event of the year. Past Lantern Rite celebrations have given players anywhere from 10 to 20 free intertwined fates just for logging in, along with a free 4-star Liu character of your choice, extra Primo Gems, Mora, and a ton of Ascension materials. Even if you're not planning on pulling for the new 5 stars, this festival always makes the patch worth logging into. Now let's get into the first headline feature, Neuvillette's premium 5-star skin. Multiple reliable leakers, HXG, DK2, Sukuna, have all reported that this skin is basically finished. This isn't just a concept sketch floating around behind the scenes. It's already internally complete and ready for reveal. If Hoyoverse follows their usual pattern, we'll probably see it announced either during the 6.3 livestream or in a teaser campaign right before the patch drops. What makes this special is that it would be only the second 5-star skin in the entire game. The last time we got one was Diluc's Red Dead of Night back in version 2.8. Most skins we've seen have been 4-star rarity, often free through events or priced lower in Genesis crystals. But 5-star skins? That's a whole other level. These usually come with completely reworked idle animations and even fresh visual effects. There are even rumors about Neuvillette's Hydro Beam getting reimagined. Instead of just a water beam, it might take on a more lightning-like burst effect, with a white, gray, and gold color palette. That part isn't 100% confirmed, but considering how over-the-top Hoyoverse goes with 5-star skins, it wouldn't be surprising. Now, before anyone gets too excited, let's clear this up. There's no confirmed rerun for Neuvillette himself alongside the skin. Diluc didn't rerun when his 5-star skin dropped, so it's entirely possible this ends up just being a standalone shop item. Still, if Hoyoverse does decide to pair it with a rerun banner, that would be absolutely brutal for people's Primogem savings. Neuvillette is already one of the strongest Hydro DPS characters in the game, with insane HP scaling, incredible Hydro application, and high interruption resistance. Add a gorgeous premium skin on top of that, and the temptation to pull would skyrocket. But let's move on to what might be the biggest hype point for 6.3, Columbina. She's the third seat of the Fatui Harbingers, often referred to as the Damselette, or even the Goddess of the Frost Moon, depending on which piece of lore you look at. Fans have been waiting for her debut for years, and it looks like 6.3 is finally the moment she becomes playable. Leaks point to her being a Hydro 5-star character with a support kit that focuses on unique Hydro reactions. Some sources suggest she'll specifically tie into Nodcry's mechanics, the same way Bloom was introduced with Sumeru to make Dendro relevant. If that turns out to be true, Colombina could completely reshape team building by introducing whole new reaction setups that don't exist yet. Lore-wise, her arrival is a huge deal. Hoyoverse almost always ties Harbinger debuts to major story beats. And with the leaks hinting at her having connections to lunar imagery, she could end up being directly tied into the White Horse Adeptus storyline as well. For players who love pulling characters that matter in the story, and not just mechanically, Columbina looks like an absolute must-pull. Now let's talk about the other newcomer, the White Horse Adeptus. And no, despite the memes, this isn't literally a horse. Leaks suggest this character is actually the Celadon mare, a figure we've known about since version 1.0. She's been referenced in Genshin lore as one of the Adepti of Liyue, tied to Istaroth, the god of time. Descriptions call her the daughter of time, with knowledge of the three moons. So what we're likely getting is another humanoid Adeptus, just like Cloud Retainer didn't turn into a literal crane when she became playable, and Mooncarver isn't actually a deer. The White Horse Adeptus will probably be a human form character with horse or lunar-themed motifs. From a gameplay perspective, early descriptions say she'll be an Anemo support with a unique role. Instead of just being slotted into crowd control or resistance shred, which is what Anemo units usually get stuck with, she could end up functioning more like a pseudo-Nilu, a versatile support who enables specific elemental team setups or provides buffs based on party composition. If that's true, she has serious potential to become a meta staple. So if we put this all together, here's what the banner cycle for 6.3 looks like based on leaks. First half, Columbina's debut banner. Second half, the White Horse Adeptus. All patch-long, Neuvillette skin available in the shop. But that's not all. Hoyoverse loves stacking big-name reruns during festival patches. Historically, Archons rerun almost every patch or every other patch once their region is live. That means we could easily see either Furina or Mavuika slotted into 6.3 as well. If it's Furina, it would be her third banner already. If it's Mavuika, it would be his second rerun since Fontaine. Either way, pairing an Archon rerun with 2 brand new 5 stars and a premium skin would make this one of the most expensive patches we've ever seen. Now let's get into the spiciest part of the leaks, Zhongli. Some sources, most notably Duma, who's kind of a controversial name in the community, have suggested that Zhongli might play a role in 6.3 involving lunar powers, and possibly even the resurrection of the White Horse Adeptus. Now, a lot of people are skeptical about this, and for good reason. Zhongli has always been portrayed as a character who respects the natural order of life and death. He mourned Guizhong instead of reviving her, and he's constantly emphasized letting time and erosion take their course. So the idea of him resurrecting someone doesn't really fit. Some fans think it could instead mean bringing her back from another plane of existence, similar to how he intervened to save Xiao during the Chasm quest, rather than a literal resurrection. As for Duma himself, yeah, he gets clowned on a lot for sketchy leak claims like Varka standard banner. But to be fair, his nod cry leaks have been surprisingly accurate so far. He correctly said Alice wouldn't be playable, Dainsleif wouldn't arrive until later, and that Durin would show up in 6.2. All of those things have lined up with the current roadmap. So, while it's still smart to be skeptical, his calls for this arc haven't been wrong yet. Speaking of Durin, leaks describe him as a mimetic Nibelung, which basically means he's not the true original dragon, but rather some kind of echo or recreation. That ties back to his origin as a creation of Rhine-daughter and his connection to abyssal energy. If 6.2 sets up Durin's story, then it makes sense for 6.3 to continue that chain with the White Horse Adeptus and lunar themes. That way, the story flows directly from abyssal dragon lore into celestial and lunar connections, tying everything together. So let's recap. In version 6.3, we're looking at Lantern Rite with tons of free rewards, Neuvillette's flashy new 5-star skin, Colombina's long-awaited debut, the mysterious White Horse Adeptus joining the roster, a possible Archon rerun, potential Liyue map expansion, and maybe even Zhongli and Durin tied into heavy lunar story beats. This isn't just another filler festival patch. 6.3 is shaping up to be the centerpiece of early Natlan content, and easily one of the hardest patches to skip if you care about both gameplay and lore. Of course, not everything here is 100% confirmed, so take all of this with the usual grain of salt until Hoyoverse officially reveals it in the live stream. But even if half of this turns out to be true, 6.3 could go down as one of the most stacked patches in Genshin history. So now I've got to ask you guys, who are you saving for? Columbina? The White Horse Adeptus? Or are you holding out for Neuvillette's 5-star skin? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got plenty more leaks, lore, and update coverage to talk about as we move deeper into Natlan. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Save up to 25% on current banners at lootbar.gg. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.